Welcome back to episode 125 of the Purple Rain podcast. And we are one day away from training camp. So I think we made it through, like the slow season. We made it through. And you can see 17 days until Baltimore Ravens football. I cannot wait. But I got to do it. Episode 125, the Kevon Seymour episode, the Tavon Young episode, and for my Raven fans, just throw it back, the Chris Carr episode. I wasn't a big Chris Carr fan at all. I just have bad memories of him. But I'm glad you are back here with us. And you can find us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. You can find this guy on Instagram, on Twitter, at SuttonDef. You can find me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod and on Twitter at simplyas10. And yeah, like the video. And if you're new here, hi, welcome, and
hello.
Subscribe. Love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing in the show, Alex, per usual. Episode 125 of the Purple Rain Podcast, featuring your boy Simply as 10 and myself, Sutton Def. We are here to talk some Ravens football tonight, but before we get into that, as we always do, we would be remiss if we do not bring up the live Rain Gang chat. Everybody who's in here, Lisa Frankel kicking it off says this is a Tavon Young episode of PRP. Absolutely. K-Dog in the house says, yo, what's good, Rain Gang family, on this Monday evening? How you doing, K-Dog? Hope you guys are staying out of that storm if you guys live in the Maryland area. Let's see. Daquan Christian says, what's up, Rain Gang, Sutton and Alex. Ravens Online Ungatekeeper says, what's going on, fellas? What's going on, guys? JD Killswitch is in the house as well. I see Dre. My guy Dre is in here. Says, what's up, Purple Rain Gang? What's going on, Dre? Hope you're doing well. Yolanda is in the house. Says, good evening, PRP family. Happy Monday. I hope everyone is well. We hope you're well.
It's
Yolanda,
a big
we
week.
Really do.
It's a real big week for everybody in the Ravens football community. I know Saturday is a big day. A very big day.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting close. Like you said, you can read my board here. 17 days until Ravens football is back. Black Daniels in the house says, Rain Gang. What's going on, Black Daniels, my guy? Jabari Cruz Ellis pulled up tonight. Says, what's going on, Purple Rain Gang? What's going on, bro? Appreciate you for pulling through. Dylan is in the house. My guy, Dylan. What's up, boys? How y'all doing? What's going on, Dylan? How are you doing? Let us know. Let us know down in the chat. Don C. The Don. PRP. Alex Sutton. What's up, guys? What's going on, Don? Appreciate you for pulling up, coming through. Daquan in the house. I see Rico Nixels in the house. I see Kimberly Harmon. Hey, Kimberly. How you doing? What's up? Exley is in the building, says PRP. Alfonso is in here, says Rain Gang. Got my guy Mod Boz in the house, says Rain Gang. Mod Boz, man. Appreciate you always. Thank you for coming through. Yeah, absolutely. I see King 95 is in here, says, whoa, what's going on, bro? The King. He's in the building. Appreciate you guys for pulling up. If you guys are not watching this live right now and you're listening to this after the fact and you're like, dang, I wish I was in the live chat, make sure you catch a live episode. You know, we love the Replay Gang. Thank you guys so much for being part of the hashtag Replay Gang. If you are part of the Replay Gang, leave a comment down below, like the video, let us know how you're doing, how you're feeling. I see Omega 21 is in the house as well. Says, hey, PRP, Rain Gang. I see my guy Dawson is in here. I see Cameron Hines is in here. I see some new faces, new names. I like it. I love it, actually. I love it.
Yeah.
You look like you're about to say something, Alex.
I'm ready. I'm just ready to talk. I think I have the ants in my pants that training camp opens tomorrow. And I know we're gonna have content. We're gonna see pads. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be wonderful. I just hope it's better than last year's training camp. If you know, you know. I'm not gonna say anything else about it. Nothing else.
I mean, he's not lying.
No.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into what we came here to talk about, guys. Before we do that, just real quick.
Oh.
We got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Manscaped. Manscaped.com. You can go on Manscaped.com and order yourself the finest, and I mean the finest, of below-the-belt men's personal hygiene tools. On Manscaped.com, you can actually use the code PRP, standing for Purple Rain Podcast, of course, PRP, to save 20% off of your Manscaped order. So that's on products like the Lawnmower 4.0. That's on products like the Weed Whacker, which is a really good nose hair trimmer, if you guys didn't know. I just got a haircut today. Guess what? My barber did not get my nose hairs.
I would hope he didn't. Because it would be an awkward angle if he did.
It would be an awkward angle, but it's like, dang, I mean, a haircut is supposed to be like full hair care, you know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to be the whole package. That might include my nose hairs, you know? I mean, just get yourself a little nose hair clipper. I mean, it doesn't take much. But listen,
how about the barber gets Manscaped?
Exactly. Manscaped has got you covered when your barber does not. So make sure you head over to manscaped.com, pick up that weed whacker, and you can save 20% plus free shipping if you use our code
I love that.
PRP.
Love
All right,
that.
Alex,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and get into what we came here to talk about, shall we?
Let's do it. Let's
All
freaking
right.
do it.
All right. What's going on, Brandon? By the way, appreciate you
Yo.
for coming up, coming through. Let's see, Daryl's in the house as well. You know, we got to give shout out recognition to everybody in the live chat. We got about 54 people watching live right now. Like the
Hi.
video, subscribe to the channel as well
Howdy.
if you are new. But listen, we're here to talk about the top 3 off-season moves that the Ravens made this offseason. So the offseason is winding down. Again, you can refer to my little board right here. A little bit over 2 weeks until we get Ravens football back. You know what I mean? 2 weeks. That's not a lot of time. So
No,
effectively, the offseason is pretty much over.
it
You know,
is.
most of the moves that we were going to make, we've made by now. So me and Alex are here to break it down, and we want you guys to follow along as well and let us know your top 3
Yeah.
offseason moves that the Ravens made to give them better progression in the next season or this coming up season. Alex, I'm going to start with you, though.
Okay. Okay.
What are 3 offseason moves, top 3 offseason
3.
moves for you from the Ravens that they made this year?
So number 3 is the beefing up of the interior defensive line. Obviously, we brought back a Calais Campbell. Um, didn't bring back a Brandon Williams, who is still a free agent, which is pretty surprising to me. Yeah, very surprising. Brought back a familiar face in one Michael Pierce, but he's more of a run stuffer. But I'm going to talk about just who we drafted, and that's Travis Jones. That man, that's a bad man. Goodness gracious, the way he just takes guys and pushes them into the damn quarterback, that interior pass rush. And even signing Brent Urban, who can get his hands up there. Him and Calais Campbell, if they both if Brent Urban makes a team, they will swat some damn balls. Them passes deflected, get their big long arms up there and just bat it down. Hopefully bat it for an interception. But yeah, that's my number 3. My number 2, it was hard for me to put this one there because I thought it was gonna be 1, but it wasn't. And that is the beefing up of our secondary, because we saw what happened last year. All right, we saw one Marlon Humphrey go down, Marcus Peters, how Anthony Avery. I mean, for Pete's sake, we had, what was it, Robert Jackson playing at defensive back, wearing number 17. Who else did we have back there? It was bad. I think it was Tolliver.
Yeah.
We had Tolliver back. Yeah, I don't even know his first name. It was bad. It was very bad. So we signed a Kyle Fuller, drafted Armour Davis, drafted a Pepe Williams, and we have so many defensive backs that we had to waive one in Amon Marshall. And are we even sure he is a person? We never seen him before, like at all, at all.
Got a point.
Who is Amon Marshall? So that is my number 2, and my number 1. I couldn't be happier. The beefing up of the offensive line. I mean, I love it. You drafted Tyler Linderbaum in the first round, which, come on now, best center in the draft. I mean, you got your guy for the next 5 years. And then, okay, let's say Ronnie Stanley isn't ready. We drafted a tackle in Morgan Moses who, can play left and right tackle. Oh, now let's say that Ronnie Stanley, knock on wood, can't play. All right, week 1. Cool. Morgan Moses left tackle, and right tackle, Patrick McCarry, who we recently re-signed. All right. So now our offensive line, outside of left guard, is looking pretty damn solid. Oh, and by the way, we drafted one, Daniel Falele. We're keeping 8 protected. The Great Wall of Baltimore. I love it. So those are my 3. I thought pretty hard about them. It was hard to put the 2 and the 3, but I knew all the way 1 was going to be just getting that line, getting it nasty, vicious.
Yeah.
Love that. So I'm going to hand it off to you, much like Lamar will be doing to J.K. Dobbins this year and Gus Edwards.
Exactly. Despite the fact that both of those guys are still on the PUP list for now.
Yes.
But I like that list, though, Alex. I like that top 3. I'm going to take it just a little bit deeper. I'm going to take a little bit deeper.
Go for it.
Number 3, I would say Morgan Moses, man. Morgan Moses, because that was one of those. Wasn't that the first offseason move, like transaction that they made?
No, he was that night.
That was the second?
After Marcus Williams, that night.
Got you. That was after Marcus Williams. I'm going to talk about him too, Marcus Williams. But listen, man, Morgan Moses, getting him, like you said, a guy who can play right tackle and left tackle. Yeah. But just having just I guess solidarity at that spot, at that right tackle spot, when we did not have that last year. I mean, we had guys like Patrick McCarry flexing in and out of the position. you know. So just to get some stability, at that position is gonna be paramount to Lamar Jackson's success. Because if you ask me, with the type of quarterback that Lamar Jackson is, he's surveying all points of the field, whether to try to figure out if he can pass the ball or if he can run the ball. Which means to me, his left tackle is just as important as his right tackle. Because he needs to be able to, escape if he gets flushed out, whatever. He needs to be able to escape from some direction, some angle. And I really like the fact that they got an anchor in Morgan Moses to kind of fill that position. Number two for me was going to be the fact that, and this is a tough one. I'm still thinking about it up to this very second, kind of debating on what it is. But I'm going to probably have to go with, I'm going to have to go with the fact that we traded Hollywood Brown. And straight up the fact that we traded Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
Now, this one might be a little bit controversial because, Hollywood Brown was undoubtedly our wide receiver one by default. He had the numbers, he had the targets, he had, whatever. But at the same time, I feel like Hollywood Brown being a wide receiver one in an already run-centric offense was not going to get us to a Super Bowl. I don't think it was, because you got to think when the going gets tough, right? And you need those possession catches on third and whatever. Hollywood wasn't getting a lot of those looks. He wasn't getting a lot of those looks. A lot of those looks were going to Mark Andrews. A lot of those looks were going to Lamar Jackson. A lot of times they called upon his legs to get the first down, in clutch situations. So the fact that we don't have a Hollywood Brown anymore, and now that Lamar Jackson can kind of fairly spread the ball out, that's the main reason why I like that offseason move, because it's going to make Lamar Jackson a totally different quarterback. Totally different quarterback. We saw before Hollywood Brown, he was being force-fed the football by Lamar. Whether he was open, kind of covered, Lamar Jackson just really wanted to get the football to Hollywood Brown. The numbers show it. You can go up and look up his targets. Numbers show it.
The top 10 most targeted receivers, I think, in the league.
Yeah, exactly. So now the fact that Lamar Jackson does not have a Hollywood Brown anymore, you're going to be hearing a lot of you're going to be seeing a lot of those stats at the end of the first half of games where it's going to say, Lamar Jackson has spread the ball to 7 different receivers so far in this game. You're going to be hearing a lot of that sort of stuff because he's going to be spreading that bitch around. I'm telling you, excuse my language. No. But look, he's going to be doing it. He's going to be doing it. So I really like that move, and I like that move even more because of the fact that what they got for Hollywood Brown. They got a Tyler Linderbaum, to your point. That's Lamar help. I mean, this is a position, center is a position that we've been struggling at for past couple seasons. We've had Lamar Jackson literally get hurt because of an error from a center. So we can't have that anymore. And that was in a playoff game too. Can't have that anymore.
I like the way you backed that up. I'm going to give you your kudos for that. You backed it up beautifully. I'm going to stay in my comments for after, but
okay.
I love that.
My number one offseason move that the Ravens made, though, despite trading Hollywood Brown and how I think that'll make Lamar Jackson a better quarterback, despite the new additions on the offensive line, I think the number one move is this, man. And you touched on this. The additions that they made in the secondary. Those moves are going so far under the radar. They're flying so far under the radar. People forget the Ravens went out and they got a Marcus Williams, deep safety who's going to be able to be that anchor there along with a Kyle Hamilton. I'll get to him as well. But they're going to be able to be those, play that cover two high safety look on defense. And teams aren't going to be able to just throw all over us. They're not going to be able to throw deep down the field because those guys are opportunists. You know what I mean? You throw the ball up, they might come down with it, and they're running the other way. And now as a quarterback, you're running back to the sideline. Your coach is telling you, hey, look, don't throw in their direction. So having a guy like Marcus Williams, they went out and got him. That tells me that the Ravens, they knew how important having a good secondary is, especially in this conference. With all these quarterbacks with huge arms, big talent around them at wide receiver, you need to have, a secondary who can be the difference between your defense being boom or bust or bend don't break. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times last year, our secondary was breaking in big moments. In big moments. I think the Ravens don't want that to happen anymore. That's why they went out and they addressed it immediately. Got a Kyle Hamilton in the first round of the draft with the 14th pick, and also got a Marcus Williams. That's my number one offseason move because I think that that's going to be huge for us this coming up season, playing, all these talented quarterbacks. But those are my top three. I wonder how you guys are feeling about it. I'm going to let my guy Alex chime in, though.
So with the Hollywood one, I think it's controversial.
Mm.
Like the Eric Andre gift. But how would you say something so controversial yet so brave? I have nothing but love for Hollywood Brown. But I think you're correct. I think it was great for both parties. I just want to give a shout out to him and the Ravens organization because as you see, like the Chiefs and Orlando Brown, it went public with them. The Hollywood and Baltimore, it kept private and it paid dividends, I think, for both parties because Hollywood's now with Kyler Murray, who got that big paycheck with DeAndre Hopkins, and we got a first round pick out of it.
Yeah,
we got the same thing as what the Titans got for AJ Brown, and I'm not going to sit here and compare the two, but people have AJ Brown ahead of Marquise Brown, and we got the same thing for them. So I just want to give the kudos to both of them just for keeping it quiet because we've seen some things get nasty, some player and teams. So that was awesome. I think you're correct because you are right. We definitely was forced. And I look at the third downs. I mean, we were going to Willie Snead over him sometimes on third down. Willie Snead isn't even in the league right now at all. So you make a real good point there. And I can't praise this. The Hamilton drafting enough, man. Number 14. Number 14.
Yeah.
And he was even I saw a clip from the Studio 44. He said, I'm not scared of playing the Bucs because I know when I go and hit these people, it's not like I'm going to die. I'm going to get back up. I'll be fine. I'm like, damn. I'm like, that's your mentality?
Kids got guts.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what the Rain Gang said, but I like that. You went more in depth. I kept it pretty just nothing too crazy. But I think at the end of the day, I think we got better as a team, although we did lose some pieces. We did get better. I thought we did show that, if we would have got Zadarius Smith, I probably would have been over the moon. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. That still kind of stings me to this day. But we did get one David Ojabo. Yeah. But
you're right.
That right there, man. If we would have gotten that, we're touching like an A+ offseason. But let's see what the Rain Gang's saying.
Yeah, let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat. I see a lot of talk about David Ojabo in here. Somebody said, "Are we going to give Ojabo his contract?" I think we will. I mean. Yeah, we'll talk about the whole cap situation and everything like that in a little bit, but I think we will. Well, actually, I know we will sign David Ojabo. There's no reason we wouldn't, went and got him in the second round.
Right.
Let's see. Lisa Ann, that is chiming in, says, "My three moves are number 1, getting Brent Urban, number 2, getting Morgan Moses, and number 3, Michael Pierce." So Lisa here is saying that Michael Pierce is a top 3 offseason move from the Ravens. Alex, will say you to that.
If he can pass the conditioning test. That was his problem before. I would never forget that he was the last one to ever finish a conditioning test. Wow.
The big
I think
boy for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Morgan Moses one, like I said, I can't praise enough. I saw K-Dog said it, how he learned from Trent Williams, so he has that dog in him. Yeah. Said it before and I'll say it again. Morgan Moses learned from Trent Williams. He's the person who actually informed me of this, so this is great news. And you can see, even in the Ravens Wired, he's a leader on the offensive line, much like Trent Williams, the leader for those San Francisco 49ers. The same ones that made the NFC Championship last year. So that's great to hear. But for the Brent Urban, I'm not too sure about that. I think he'll be a contributor, but not too much. I think Michael Pierce will be a bigger contributor than Brent Urban will.
Interesting. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. Void says Hollywood Brown got 130 plus targets. Oof.
Yes.
So that's a healthy amount of targets, and they're going to be getting spread around more. My guy Black Daniel says here, I think you're right, Sutton. He won't have a choice without Hollywood as a security blanket. Bro is definitely getting all the touches. I think Mark Andrews is more the security blanket. I think that Hollywood Brown is just more so Lamar Jackson's buddy, who he just wants to get him the ball. He wants them to be like that 1-2 combination. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, if you ask me.
And while we're on the topic of Mark Andrews, why the hell did I see some Mark Andrews disrespect the other day? This man was the best tight end in the league last year. The best. Saying he's nowhere close to Kittle and Kelsey. Nowhere close.
Nowhere close?
Nowhere close. It came from the same sources that Aaron Rodgers isn't a top 3 quarterback. That's how I knew it was blasphemy.
You know what, Alex? Let me ask you this real quick. What do you think separates, in a lot of these experts, quote unquote experts'
Yeah,
eyes, what do you think separates Mark Andrews from the Kittles and Kelseys of the world?
probably just the postseason play. Mark Andrews hasn't
Mm,
taken over a postseason game.
I got you.
That's
No, that makes
probably the
sense though.
only thing, and I understand that.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think if we're talking about last year, I mean, Mark Andrews literally balled out with every quarterback we put in there, did his
yeah,
thing.
yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, Mark Andrews, he's one of those players. He gets better and better every season. You know, so very excited to see what he can do this year. And if you ask me that same question, like, what do I think the difference is between Kittle, Kelsey, and then Andrews? I gotta agree with Alex, man. I didn't really think about it until just now. Like those big moments, we've seen Mark Andrews kind of shrink in those big moments, but we haven't necessarily seen him take over. You know, we've only seen that one side, like in the Buffalo game where we feel like he should have caught that touchdown from Tyler Huntley to put us right back in it. You know, in the Titans game, you know, in the 2019
Oh,
season, he had
I'm
that drop.
that play is going through my head right now. I'm
That was
seeing
the
it
drop that
happen.
started it all in
The
that game.
throw over the middle, the tip, the interception by Kevin
Yeah.
Byard, the Lamar horse
Yep.
collar. Goodness me. Goodness.
Yeah, honestly. The Jonnu Smith butt touchdown. That
I
wow.
between that and the Melvin Gordon fumble, not fumble the year before, we've
Yeah,
had some pain as Ravens fans, man. Like
definitely. For
it's
sure.
definitely underrated pain that we've had.
Yeah. All right, let's see another one from Chike says,
Okay,
my
okay.
top three offseason moves are Morgan Moses, Marcus Williams, and Kyle Hamilton because we have protection for Lamar and we have a secondary that can prevent the 75-yard bombs to Jamar Chase or Gabriel Davis. This is exactly what I'm talking about, Chike. Like, we need a secondary that can prevent those big splash plays because that's how teams like the Bengals beat you. That's how teams like the Chiefs beat you. That's how teams like the Chargers beat you. You know, these big splash, big time
Yeah,
plays where it's I
the
don't
ones
know.
that we
I don't know.
lack.
Right, exactly. Which we need to get more of on our offensive side of the football. But
Yeah,
I think I like this. I like this list here from Chike. He pretty much is agreeing with us for the most part.
yeah.
But yeah, see what else you guys are saying. Raven Ron says that secondary on paper is fire. Cornerbacks Humphrey,
Yes.
Fuller, Peters, Hamilton, and Williams.
And not even the rookie isn't even mentioned. Like we don't even know what these guys are going to do. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
I think
I mean,
Fuller hasn't even been talked about. I mean, Fuller
really
wasn't doing good.
hasn't. No.
He wasn't doing it good against number one receivers, but he's not going to be going against number one receivers. Now, granted,
Right.
I'm going
Yeah.
to be worried
We got
when
guys for
he's up
that.
against Tyler Boyd because Tyler Boyd is a wide receiver 3. It's not fair. I'll just say that. But outside of that, I think he should do pretty well with the matchups that he's given.
Yeah. Let's see. Mike V chiming in here says, "What's up, Rain Gang? I am hyped about Saturday's open practice. First time
Oh,
catching you guys live. I'm normally part of the hashtag replay gang.
what's going
What's
on,
going on,
Mike? Thank
Mike?
you for coming through.
Yeah,
Good to see you here.
absolutely. Appreciate you for pulling up, and it was great that you caught a live episode. We want
Yeah.
more people like Mike. You know, we want more people from the
Be like
replay
Mike.
gang
Like Mike.
to come see us. Right, be like Mike. Come see us live. You know, it's a different experience. Like I said last episode, it just hits different. It just
And I'm
does.
hyped about Saturday too. Don't worry,
Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
The Don is in the house. Says I think that was the Ravens' best move, cutting Iman Marshall dead weight. Mm,
I could see him coming back. To be honest, I mean, it's practice squad something, but I definitely
yeah,
get you there. I think talking about dead weight, is Ben Powers. I mean, if he's not going to play this year, I think he holds like a 3.5 cap hit million. That right there, that gets you a player on the vet minimum or around there. So that's pretty interesting, I think. And you want to get into the restructuring deal real quick, son? Is that cool?
yeah. We can go ahead and shift gears now and get
Awesome,
into
awesome.
the news that actually just broke today. It was this morning. I mean, I
Yeah,
saw it when the news was
fresh
like
off the
only
press.
2 minutes old, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's actually
Yeah.
pretty interesting. So this morning, it was announced that the Ravens reconstructed one Marlon Humphrey's contract. Basically, it was something about making something a signing bonus or something like that.
Yeah,
Basically, all in all, the Ravens have $7 more million in cap space by doing that. So the question is, what do they do with that $7 million? There still is David Ojabo to be signed, of course, to his rookie deal.
yep,
And there are you need money to operate. You need cap space to operate, at least a little bit of
exactly.
it.
I mean,
You
look,
know.
I hate to say it. Look what happened last year. All right, I
Mm,
don't. You can never be too safe. All right, we
right.
saw, guys in the IR. I mean, I'll throw it back. When we signed a guy like Damata Pecco, Jahad Ward, LJ Fort, Josh Bynes in the middle of the season,
Yeah.
yeah, got to pay them. So just to be safe, got to save some money. So
You're right. You're right. And I mean, and the big question is like, if the Ravens will bring in somebody new, if they'll sign a free agent, if they do, Alex,
yeah,
who would you have your eye on?
the one guy I want won't be ready for a couple of months, unfortunately.
Odell.
That's one Odell Beckham Jr.
Mm,
I've said it before. I think it would, if we were to sign him, it would show that okay, maybe the receiving core needs that spark. Because who knows? Maybe in the middle of the season, maybe one Gregory won't be there anymore. Okay, wishful thinking,
who
wishful
knows?
thinking. Um, but yeah, I think it would give our young guys a chance to have their chance, and
Mm,
then if they need help, get him in like November. But I doubt it will happen.
yeah. I mean, I like that. I like possibly bringing in Odell, but I would probably rather bring in a Julio Jones. I would.
Yeah, it's like you get hamstrings. It's like a guy who has bad hamstrings versus a guy who tore his ACL like 3 times. So I
Yeah.
understand that. Now,
Yeah.
one thing I wouldn't mind is trade for DK Metcalf. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah, we don't got the money for that. We don't
Pull
got the
that
cap
trigger.
for all that, I would
Pull
say.
that trigger, EDC. Come on now. But yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I say I would like Julio Jones, and it's just because like I mean, you talk about a veteran wide receiver who can go in there and he can literally kind of coach up and kind of lead that wide receiver room, because there's literally nobody else in that wide receiver room. There is no Sammy Watkins anymore, at least, you know what I mean? Like we don't have any old guys. It's all young guys. So
Yeah,
that's
third
like the
year
one,
receivers.
right?
Third year
That's the
receivers.
most
That's our vets.
exactly. That's the most questionable wide receiver. That is the most questionable position on the Ravens roster. If you ask anybody who's anybody, like
Yeah.
what do you think about the Ravens? Like, I mean, I like them. Their offense is good, but who is Lamar throwing to? That's
Yeah.
the argument. That's what they're
Yep.
saying.
Yep.
So having a guy like Julio Jones in there, I feel like would really solidify that receiving core because we know us Ravens fans, we know in our heart, Rashad Bateman, he is the number one wide receiver. We saw flashes of what he can do last year, and we fully expect for him to take that next step. But at the same time, you can't expect a guy like Rashad Bateman to take that next step as a player on the field and then also be able to lead off the field, around the field, just that sort of thing, especially not in his first year. This is basically the way I'm looking at it. This is Rashad Bateman's rookie season.
Yeah,
This
because
is
he
clean
got
slate, Yeah.
Yeah, because he was out of the training camp as well, some of it last year too,
Right.
when he went down.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, this is his first full off season. Fingers crossed. Not going to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'll get to play. Hopefully, well, he will get to play in the NFL regular season kickoff game. Hopefully, weeks 1 through 18.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We'll see about that. Let us know in the chat who you guys would like for the Ravens to bring in with that $7 million of cap space, or just whatever moves you would like to see the Ravens
yeah,
do with that extra $7 million in cap space, or what do you think they're going to do? I see we got a guy Gerald in the house. Says, "What up, PRP
G money,
gang? What's going on,
G
Gerald?
money, G
Appreciate
money.
you for coming through, pulling up each and every time. Just simply is 10 to sudden death, the best. We appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
We appreciate that.
And
Thank you.
real quick, we have 36 likes. Can we get to 45, please? So 77 people watching would be much, much, much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Get them likes up. Get them likes up, guys. We'd appreciate it. Let's see what y'all are saying here. Void says, "Bring in AB."
Nah, I'm tired of this. No, he was at Rolling Loud. He can stay there. He can stay performing at Rolling Loud. No, I'm done with the
Yeah,
AB stuff. I'm done with
I'm
it.
good on the AB. I'm good on
Done
the
with it.
AB.
I think
Even if he does bring his
he could
production.
bring something here. But I'm telling you this right now. If he was mad at the Buccaneers taking his jersey off, what do you think he's going to do when it's 3rd and 15 and Greg Roman calls a screen to Devin Duvernay? What do you think he's going to do?
Oof. Yeah, he might lose it. He might lose
He will
it.
lose it. He will lose it.
You're right about that. I like that. Let's see. Dre says Jason Pierre-Paul, OBJ, or Julio Jones. I saw a lot of people talking about JPP as well. What do you think about him?
I don't know. I think the door is shut. Now, if we were to sign him, that's telling me more that Ty Bowser isn't ready to go, which would really suck.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Yeah. Definitely would. Let's see. We have a question in here coming from our guy Gerald, who just got in here. He says, "What if the running game dominates like it did during the 2019 season? Do we really need to have an explosive passing game?" I think so. I think we do, Gerald.
I think you have to. I'll let you go why, but I agree with you. I think we have to.
Yeah, I mean, Gerald, I think the reason why we need an explosive passing game is because we've seen time and time again when the going gets tough and when the playoffs start, you have to be able to throw the ball. The playoffs is a lot of 2-minute situations. The playoffs is all about keying in on that one opponent that you have that week and absolutely positively doing everything in your power to take away what they do best. I mean, you saw it in the Bills game when the Bills were getting gashed by the run in the beginning of that playoff game a couple years ago. And then they sold out to stop the run. Just completely sold out, and it was working, right? And then we started to pass the football, but it just wasn't clicking like that. That's why we need an explosive passing game. When we stop doing what brought us to the dance, we need to have a contingency plan, a backup, something that'll still work just as well, if not better in some scenarios. So I think that's definitely the reason why we still need an explosive passing game. It's all about balance. It's all about balance.
Yeah.
So
that's what I didn't see the Rams running the ball in the Super Bowl when they didn't win it all. They were throwing that rock. Cooper Kupp, where you at? Like honestly, like if we're in a playoff game and we're in a 2-minute drive, I don't really trust Greg Roman because I've seen us like kind of just fall apart sometimes in 2 minutes. Now, granted, there it was with Tyler Huntley, but that Rams game, I don't know what we were doing. Like he had Andrews running like a hitch route, and we had like one timeout left. Like you go to the sidelines. I think the season was over by then, but just still, it was very just telling of what it was. I actually watched the Kurt Warner video when he was breaking down the Ravens offense, and this was from the playoff game against the Titans. I highly advise you to watch it if you haven't, because everything he said, I think it was January 17th, 2021, still holds true to this day. It's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah. I see what you guys are saying here in the chat. King says Ravens have brainwashed fans to thinking we can run to the Super Bowl.
It ain't 1980 no more.
No. You got to be able to slang that thing, man. You do. And Lamar can do it. Now, one thing I will say about Lamar Jackson, something that I think he needs to improve on as just a quarterback, not necessarily as like a passer, not necessarily as whatever else, but just as a quarterback, I think some of the pre-snap stuff, just being able to get to the line, read the defense, make your checks, things like that, and, be able to change the play. Now, me personally, I'm not sure if the Ravens have him kind of, I don't want to say handcuffed, but on like training wheels. Like, hey, this is the play. Go up to the line of scrimmage, execute this play. We really think it's going to work. Don't go switching stuff up. You know what I mean? Because we think we're smarter than you, and we want you to do what we plan for you. I don't know if that's the case, but if it's not, and they're not handcuffing him in that way, I think Lamar Jackson, he needs to kind of engage more with his line at the line of scrimmage, his receivers, things like that. Make his checks, make the proper reads. I don't see a whole lot of pre-snap stuff from Lamar Jackson. I really don't. So, and all the great quarterbacks, they have that down to a T. So I think that is one thing or criticism I could put on him that I would say he needs to improve.
Yeah, I'm just going to reply to this comment. You know what team that ran to the Super Bowl? Not even, it was a championship back then, in like 1964, was the Browns with Jim Brown. That's back when you ran yourself to a championship.
Yeah.
It's 2022.
Black Daniels here says, I don't think Lamar has as much freedom in the offense as it looks like.
No.
Yeah. I don't think so either. Rainmaker says, if I'm T. Martin, I'm secretly getting my own playbook together for around week 7.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. I mean, do you think T. Martin will be right in line to take Roman's job? They like to hire in-house, so.
Yeah, they're doing, I think it's telling if the Bills want him in for a interview. If not, it'd be interesting to look what they get, but probably one of Harbaugh's boys. Hell, we probably have Mark Trestman back in there.
Yeah. Let's see. We do have our first super chat donation of the night. This one coming from Gerald. Making it rain, making it thunderstorm. Per usual, man. Thank you so much, Gerald. Says, if Sudden Death and Simply AS10 were on ESPN, I would definitely watch 2 of the best YouTubers, sports analysts on YouTube. Thank you so much, Gerald. That means a lot.
High praise, man. I'm about to cry. Goodness me.
For real. Maybe one day we will be on ESPN, Alex. You never know.
Man, we're pulling up with the nice suits. We're not looking like the plain black suits. We're pulling up the nice suit. I'm pulling up with a Bruce Buffer suit. All right, if you know, you know.
Bruce Buffer suit.
Yes.
Speaking of Bruce Buffer in UFC, well, I don't know if you caught the card from last week, but
Of course
got some
I
things
did.
to say about it. Yeah, I got some things to say about it. I want to see what you think
Okay.
about it too. But thank you so much, Gerald. We appreciate
you.
the compliment. We appreciate
Much
the
love,
support. We
man.
appreciate the donation. Everything, man. It's much love. Always, always. Let's see. Don C says 42 likes, 80 people in the chat. Hit that like for the guys.
Talk to him, Don.
Yeah, let's talk to him.
We're at
The
47
Don.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
Big ups.
Let's see. Jonathan Washington Jr. here says, I hate when I hear fans say we are going back to the 2019 Ravens. Like, shouldn't we be trying to build off of that team rather than simply replicating it? I would argue that team is better than this one.
I agree with you, Jonathan. I know you're a big DK advocate, and so am I. I still think that we need just an actual, like, receiver who is not on the back end of his career, that who knows that can help this offense.
Yeah.
Because I just... Would that mean there's, like, no excuses left for the guy in the booth? Because I think I'm on your boat. I don't think he's getting past this season anymore. I really don't. I think his contract's up. I just can't see him getting past it.
I mean, something has got to give. I mean, like I said, by mid-season, if we're not like clicking, firing on all cylinders offensively, then something has to happen, because this is the last year we're going to have Lamar for any sort of cheap. And that's if
It's
they don't
not
get a
even
deal
cheap.
done.
It's like 26 mil right now.
That's why I'm saying, like,
And that is cheap. That is cheap. Yeah.
Because after that 26 mil, we're going to have to pay him 46 mil, like the next season. If that's what he wants. It might be even more. Who knows? But I think that's what Kyler and Deshaun are getting yearly, $46 million a year. I think Deshaun's getting $46 million a year, and Kyler Murray's getting $46.1 million a year. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to our next super chat donation here. This one coming from our guy Chike. Thank you so much, making it rain here on episode 125 of the Purple Rain podcast. Says the one player I would take at wideout, and that is Deebo Samuel, because that man is a bad man. I'm telling you, we can win a Super Bowl with that. Deebo, Deebo on the Ravens, he's the perfect wide receiver for the Ravens, honestly. Because it's not like you have to scheme up. It's not like he has some insane route tree where you have to have a quarterback with a super duper, super talented arm to get him the football. It's literally no. You get him the ball as fast as you can. Quick slants, in routes, things like that, and just let him work. Let him do his magic.
Dude. And I'm so tired of the wide back thing. He put up 1,000 yards receiving last year. Like, he did that and then did the whole wide back stuff, running it and all that. Just an insane athlete, an insane football player. I love him. I would love him here. I would love either him or DK. I really would. That would get me excited. Yeah. Absolutely excited, man. Good.
Yeah. Absolutely would.
And thank you, Chike. I agree. He is
so
a
much,
bad man.
Chike.
He is a bad man.
He is absolutely, for sure. Let's see. Let's go ahead and transition to something else, a little different topic.
Okay.
Our guy Omega21 bringing it up here says, Purple Rain Podcast, did you hear what that defensive coordinator said about Lamar a couple hours ago? Before we get to that, we do have a super chat donation that just came through.
Thank you.
Want to get to that. Thank you so much, Yolanda. We appreciate you making it rain here on episode 125 of PRP. Yolanda, always coming through, always supporting.
Purple Rain
usual.
Pioneer. Just stamp it.
Absolutely. We're stamping that. Yolanda, you are now a Purple Rain Pioneer. Along with Gerald, along with K-Dog, along with Bob, along with all those guys, all those people, you're up there now as well. We appreciate you, Yolanda. We appreciate you so much. Says, call it wishful thinking, but I'm still clinging to hope that we will sign a veteran wide receiver, specifically DK Metcalf. Thanks, as always, for the great streams. No, thank you, Yolanda.
Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you. And I'm so happy. I think if we did get to Caitlin Zacharias Metcalf, I'm getting that jersey, like, immediately.
I think you got to, yeah.
I would, 100%. I would. I just think, I know him as a one receiver, he still has something to prove. But hell, he can prove it here. I've seen him score a touchdown over Jalen Ramsey. He's gotten locked up by him too, but that's the best. Iron sharpens iron. Hell yeah, I would love him. Hell yeah.
Honestly, I love me some Rashad Bateman. I do. I think Rashad Bateman, he just needs 1 year or two underneath an actual veteran wide receiver who's been there, done that. DK Metcalf has not been there. He hasn't done that, at least not yet.
Gotcha.
So I would still prefer, Julio Jones, maybe even Odell, guy like that over a DK Metcalf, especially just
Yeah.
considering we're not gonna give him the targets that he needs anyway. You know,
Yeah.
like
Well,
especially with Bateman on the roster
I
too.
don't want to be that guy, but I hope the Seahawks have a bad season. So middle of the season fire sale, um,
Ooh,
get him on a rental. I remember Marcus Peters was a rental. Yeah,
yeah. How's that going?
have the Seahawks maybe at like a 2-5. It's not
Yeah.
going too well. Oh, we need to get that future ready. Get them for like a second or third midseason. Then you resign him after the season after Lamar gets paid. Oh boy, are we cooking? And you have Bateman
Are
too.
we
Oh my
cooking?
goodness,
Yeah.
cooking.
I mean, Marcus Peters, he's like, I mean, like you said, was supposed to be a rental, but he's like that movie that you rented from Blockbuster. It was a really good movie,
Yeah.
So you just never take it back. You just never return it.
What are they gonna
So,
do?
what are they gonna do?
They're like the Seahawks.
How would they
Not
know?
much of a future.
They're never gonna know. Anyway, thank you so much, Yolanda. We appreciate you for your super chat donation.
Thank you.
And for chiming in, of course, as always. I want to get back to the comment we had before by Omega21 here. It says, PRP, did you hear what that defensive coordinator said about Lamar a couple hours ago? And if you're not familiar with what went down today, there was Mike Sando from The Athletic. He interviewed like 50 people, coaches, GMs, execs around the league, things like that. And one anonymous defensive coordinator had this to say about Lamar, basically saying that, like, hey, look, I don't give a shit if Lamar Jackson wins 12 regular season MVPs. I don't think he's ever going to be a 1 at quarterback, quote unquote, a 1 at quarterback.
Like the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I sent this to you. I said LOL.
Yeah.
In lowercase LOL. Because
Yeah.
I'm just like, really? And you said, what is a lazy take? And
Yeah.
That's lazy. That's just simple lazy. And before we get into it, I have two suspects, all right? I'm not saying it's them, but I have two suspects. And it's like the game of Clue, all right? I'm going to put everything together.
Right.
My two suspects is either Jack Del Rio or Vic Fangio.
I knew you were going to say those.
I'm leaning towards Vic Fangio, all right? Because he is the most get off my lawn guy, I think, in the NFL. He was upset because we went for a record, but a year before, they threw the ball in quote unquote garbage time to waste clock, but his receiver came down and kept running with it. So I don't want you to just be a hypocrite, Vic. If it's you, own up to it, Vic. And we'll see you. I think he's the Jaguars defensive coordinator. We will see you this year. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. To me,
I'm
honestly,
not saying it's him, by the way. Not saying it's him. Just speculation.
The fact that this had to be, had to come out anonymously, right? The fact that we don't know, like the person who said this doesn't want their name out there and being attached to this, that tells me everything I need to know, because when you sound like a hater, which is what he sounds like, whoever this defensive coordinator is, it's like you don't want that to be, I guess, exposed to the world. I guess you don't want the whole world to know that you're a hater. But if you have to hide behind, like, whatever this is, this anonymity that you got going on, then I don't know. I just can't respect that. And then on top of the fact that, like, you don't really have, like, the facts to back that up, You really just don't. Like, you look at Lamar Jackson's passing numbers. Look at in context what was going on last season. Lamar Jackson was winning football games. He was 8-3, before he went down and got hurt. Was leading the AFC halfway through the season.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what does Lamar Jackson have to do? And we talk about people moving the goalposts all the time, but I mean, it's pointless at this point, because even if he wins a Super Bowl, there's going to be a new, criticism on him on, like, why he's not one of the best, why this, why that. And it's fun to do. Like I said, it's July. This is like National Hate on Lamar Jackson in the Ravens month. Everybody discounts the Ravens and Lamar Jackson.
But what did he do? What did he do to deserve? It's like that picture of Shawn Michaels getting the middle finger in his face. He's like, what did he do to deserve this?
He didn't do anything but be himself, man. He didn't do anything but be himself.
I see Void says hot take it was Wink. Could you imagine?
I saw that. It's like somebody tweeted that earlier.
If anything, I think Wink would definitely like throw shots at Greg Roman. If there was anybody I think to call out our offensive coordinator as like anonymously, I think it'll be Wink, 100%. Because there was games Wink his defense helped us out, and there was games where the offense won us games, but that would be something.
Let's see. Purple Haze 5220 says most of the hate is because he does not have a traditional agent, meaning no access to him. He's too high profile and puts the fear that another star will do the same.
I get that, but there's only so much on social media that's gonna cause, I guess, that fear. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see the same hate being thrown towards other people. The most hate Drew Lock got was from the PGA Tour account. I mean, Josh Rosen gets his memes in. I mean, they make fun of him, but I don't know.
I don't know either. Alex. It's irritating. It's frustrating to say the least to see or to listen to every day people say things about Lamar Jackson, try to discount him on how he's not a great quarterback. Like the guy, literally, whoever this defensive coordinator is, whether it be Fangio, Jack Del Rio, whoever.
Show your face.
Show your face. But they said I don't give a shit about Lamar Jackson winning MVPs. Basically, what you're saying is I don't give a shit that the guy can win games.
Yeah,
when the last time I checked, that's what football's all about. Winning football games. That's what I don't know.
My thing is that's with any quarterback. I thought about this. Peyton Manning, and no disrespect to Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl against the Panthers dropped an absolute stinkfest. Stinkfest. It was bad. It was bad. He got the win though. It didn't matter how they won eventually. His defense was amazing. Could you imagine if that was number 8? Dropping an absolute stinker in a big game and they still win it. He did it against the Browns, but that wasn't as big of a game, I think. Like a playoff game, you know? I thought about that. I was like, but they still won. They found a way to win. It's a team game. 53 people. I think 48 active, 5 inactives. Come on.
Right. I mean, and I like the analogy that because Bucky Brooks was on Colin Cowherd's show earlier, and we have our
graduate him and draft Justin Fields.
This time last year, that's what he was saying about Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
This year, he actually said something interesting earlier today. He said that you have like in basketball, you have guys who are shooters and you have guys who are scorers. Shooters are guys who are very pure at doing that one, act, shooting the ball, that position. But scorers are guys who just find ways to win. Any means necessary. And Lamar Jackson, he is a scorer in that way. And I feel like since he's not a purist, a lot of like these higher ups, NFL execs, GMs, coordinators, coaches around the league, they don't look at him as a good quarterback or like a top tier quarterback because it just doesn't look traditional. It doesn't look pure. It's more like we always talk about backyard football. It's just finding a way to win. But I don't understand what's so wrong with that. People make it seem like that's such like a bad thing to like finding ways to win. Like, no, you got to win this way that we've been doing it since, the Packers won the first Super Bowl in 19 whatever. It's like, no, that's not the way that it is.
Hand the ball off 1,500 times.
Right.
Just run it. Halfback dive, halfback stretch. Add one of them in there. Let's get real innovative.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. Like, shit changes, man. Like, the league is changing, and a lot of people don't like that. Don't know why. It's weird to me. It's more entertaining.
Where was this mess when the Dolphins were running the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown in like 2008? Where was this mess? I don't know where it was at.
The Wildcat, man.
I love that. I love that formation, by the way, Madden. It was so nice.
Yeah.
One final thing. People do hate something that's different, and I see in many different sports. If there's a player that doesn't play the traditional way, he's going to get hate. 100%. I've seen it, but I've never seen this type of hate at all. The most hate I've seen is in soccer, which is like just because how deep the rivalry is. But in football, I've never seen this before. In American football, I've never seen this. It's insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
It is. All right, guys, let's go ahead, transition, segue into our last little bit of news, like new news, things like that. The Ravens just signed Corey Clement.
Yeah.
Eagles former Eagles running back. Corey Clement, he is here now. Before we start talking about that anymore, we do have another super
Yes.
chat donation. Thank you so much. This one's coming
Thank
from
you,
Brent
Brent.
Lauren. Thank you so much, Brent. We appreciate that. Making it rain here on episode 125 of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you guys go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Brent says, I'm at work. I just want to show some love before I go home and watch this.
Brent, thank you.
Brent.
Thank you.
my
We can't
guy.
thank you
My guy. I'm glad you're off work too. You know, it's no better feeling than getting off work.
Enjoy your night. Go home.
Absolutely.
Make yourself something good.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brent. We appreciate
Brent.
that. But yeah, getting into the news that the Ravens just signed Corey Clement or agreed to terms, whatever.
Yeah.
Alex, do you like this move? Do you love this move, or do you hate it?
I like it. I think it's smart. I think it's a camp body. Think we saw what happened last year. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's going to make the 53-man roster. The only way I think if he makes it, special teams. He did have a blocked punt last year. Hell, I made his highlights and I put that one in there, all right? Because the Ravens and their special teams, they love a good special teamer. But like Dre says, I think it's strictly a camp body. We'll probably see him in the preseason, like first game. No, unless he like absolutely just balls out. But I think he was in the Cowboys last year and didn't do too much. So I'm really don't put too much stock into it. I see people saying, "Oh, does this mean J.K. and Gus aren't coming?" But no. It's simply to have depth because right now it's Tyler Beatty, Mike Davis, Justice Hill coming off an Achilles tear, and then now Corey Clement. So I'm fine with it. I really am.
Yeah. I mean, I love the move. I mean, for pretty much every single reason that you just stated. Main reason being that, like, in training camp, the less reps that we can give to a J.K. Dobbins, to a Gus Edwards, the less work that they have to put in, the better to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So bring in a guy like Corey Clement, like I said, don't know if he's necessarily going to make their roster or whatever, but it's a camp body. It's a camp body, and you can't have enough of those, especially considering like what happened to us last season. You know,
And that's
the
all.
very
Leave it
last
there.
thing we want.
Just
know,
leave it that
We'll just leave it at that. Right. We'll just leave it at that. Seems like you guys are agreeing in here for sure. A camp body. Yeah, definitely. Not too much to talk about right there. Black Daniels giving a shout out to the hashtag replay gang. Shout out to the replay gang. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Alex.
Yeah.
Should we do some questions?
I think we should. And before we get into questions, can we get 4 more likes for 60 likes overall? I would very much enjoy and love that. And I'm down to get into questions, and I'll let you, just kick it off with your UFC talk. So let's get into it. And drop your questions in the comments below, and we will bring them up and we will answer them. Anything, and I mean anything.
Absolutely. Yeah. Make sure you go ahead and drop your questions down below in the live chat, and we will bring them up on screen. But first, just kind of talking about this week's past UFC event. Man, that was a good card all the way up until the main event. It was UFC Fight Night. The main event was supposed to be Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades. The fight did happen. It was starting, and it looked really good and promising until, unfortunately, Tom Aspinall, he suffered a knee injury. I think it's rumored that he tore his MCL. So he'll probably be out for a while, and they had to stop the fight probably 30 seconds in.
It was sad.
But up to that point, though, there were a couple good fights on that card. I know everybody's excited to talk about Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. He is
Scouser. That's Scouser, man.
Wait, what?
It's where he's from. He's Liverpool. He's a Scouser.
Oh,
that's what they call him. That's what they call him. He's a Scouser.
I thought it was like a derogatory term or something. I'm like,
no, that's what they call. They're called Scousers. It's called Scousers. Yeah.
Just like Pittsburgh Steeler fans are called like Yinzers.
Right? There you go. Right. There you go. Yeah. So, it was no dig towards him.
Got you. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm excited to see what the UFC has next for Paddy. I thought he had a good fight against a tough opponent. Jordan Levitt was a tough opponent. Like, he's really strong, really good wrestler. But what did you see from last week's UFC event?
I like the teabag. I mean, I like the entrances too. He had that joint rocking. I mean, when he came out, the electricity. I think it was. Listen, I don't know all the fighters, but I think it was his girlfriend the fight before. Dog, she messed up Shorty she was fighting. I mean, messed her up. Didn't even stand a chance. And I love, just seeing the London crowd, dog, they bring it. They bring that
They do.
crowd every time. I wish like the U.S. could definitely take some notes from them because that was electric.
It's definitely a hostile environment. I'll say that if you are not from that side of the country, that not countries, that side of the world,
Hmm.
then yeah, it's a hostile environment because you got to think, Patty Pimblett, Tom Aspinall, and Molly McCann, they all are from that side of the world. You
Hmm.
know, so like they are everybody in UFC London. They are going to ride heavy for them, and they did. They did.
Yeah,
They normally do for their hometown people, whatever. But yeah, I mean, like you said, Molly, she really did. She had a good performance against that girl. She had that spinning elbow. I want to
yeah.
say
It
it was.
was
Oh my goodness, put her lights out. It was.
it was over
It was a
before it
good
started.
fight
I felt. Yeah.
for sure. For sure, she did a good job. Um, but yeah, man. There was like one other fight on there. I think it was Alexander Gustafsson
Oh,
versus
yeah,
Nikita Krylov. Two
that was like
veterans. Yeah, Krylov, he
like what, a
finished Gus.
minute.
And I didn't see that coming because Gus is normally way better than that. I've seen Gus literally pick guys apart. Like he's the only one who almost beat John Jones.
Mm,
So, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it sucks to see him get knocked out like that, but it is what it is. That's the business. Excited for the next couple of fight cards that are
And
happening for
people are
sure.
asking right now, who you got? Pena or Nunez?
Oh man, Pena Nunes. I don't know, man. I probably would go with I'm gonna go with Nunes. I feel like since Nunes lost, she's gonna have this newfound like spark and just motivation to just go out there and get her belt back because she had it for so long. She was just dominating chicks, and then Pena kind of came in at the perfect moment where Nunes is on top. She's not really as motivated, as wired as she used to be. So I think the loss was everything that she needed to kind of get back to who she is, and you see why they're giving her an immediate rematch. Because they know that she is that girl, and I think that she'll show it next time out. Nunes for sure.
Awesome, awesome, cool. Well, that was your UFC talk for the Purple Rain podcast, and let's get into some questions, man. Let's do it.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Shall we? Black Daniel saying here promo code PRP. Trim your bushes. We shout out
Yeah,
Manscaped. Absolutely.
of
Make sure
course.
you head over to manscaped.com. Use the code
PRP.
PRP. You save
There you
20%
go.
off of your order and you get free shipping. Can't
Yeah.
beat that, right? All right, let's see. Jonathan Washington Jr. here says, is this a make or break year for Ronnie Stanley?
Great point. I actually saw somebody said like Aaron Rodgers was like one of the most unlucky. He was the unluckiest quarterback in the league, and I was gonna one up you and say Lamar Jackson because this man's All Pro left tackle signed his 5-year, $100 million contract, and the next game, ankle broke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, now with that,
Unfortunate.
I think it is a big year. I think if he is back 100% healthy, it's a little bit of a make year. I want to go full make or break, but I need him back 100%, and I don't
Mm.
trust the team to do that because if they did it to him last year, they could do it to him again. So
Mm.
that scares me. But with the signing of Morgan Moses and the drafting of Falele and the re-signing of Makari, I hope they're waiting, but I need it to be 100%. I really do. That's my biggest worry. So I'm going to go a little bit of a make, but I don't think it's a break year at all. Maybe next year.
Let's see. Chike says here, what defensive scheme do you think is best for the Ravens to play this season? Because Don Martindale has been huge on playing a 3-4 formation with 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers. What are your thoughts?
I'm not too sure. Like we don't know what Mike McDonald's going to bring, and it
Yeah.
doesn't. I think it also depends on who's healthy. Because if Bowser is healthy, he is one of the outside linebackers who can drop in coverage and rush. I would really prefer that Elway doesn't drop into coverage too much.
Yeah.
Just me wouldn't prefer that, but I do know he does like his safety in the box, which hey, that's what a Kyle Hamilton is for. So, GK, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna expect from him. Come back before the season starts, because after preseason, we'll get a little bit of what he's
We'll have a
working
better
with.
idea.
Yeah,
Right, we'll have a
it's
better
hard.
idea.
It's hard.
I will say one thing. Wink Martindale, he ran a lot of man blitzes, man coverage, blitz the quarterback. And that was kind of, it worked really well in some instances. And then other instances, it looked just absolutely foolish and it just wasn't working at all.
Yeah.
I would like to see more zone coverages because I think that can directly help our secondary in being able to tackle and not, give up these big plays. You got to think when your defense is playing in man coverage. Like your DBs, if there's a check down, right? If your DBs are like running chasing the wide receiver, and then they have to all of a sudden turn around and find the ball carrier to try to take him down, they're not going to be in as good of a position as if you are playing zone coverage. You know, you're keeping everything in front of you. You can take better angles on the ball carrier and bring them down. That'll help with tackling a lot. I think that Mike Macdonald, hopefully, again, Mike Macdonald, I hope that he implements more zone coverages in his scheme.
And thinking of man, that Jamar Chase broken jackal touchdown last year, I think was in man. I think Marlon was manning him.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this question, Chike.
Thank you,
We
Chike.
appreciate you. Kimberly says, you guys are awesome. Rain Gang, you have great stories to tell it. Love it. Makes me smile. Thank you, Kimberly.
Much love,
we
Kimberly.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
You make us smile, for sure. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Balti Raven says, what's up, Rain Gang? What's going on,
Balti Raven.
bro?
How's it going?
Yeah. Void says, what can we get for Tyler Huntley if we trade him?
You know, good old go EDC. Loves a 5th round pick.
Yeah,
4th
no.
or 5th.
You need more than that. I mean, Tyler Huntley, he's a baller. He's a dude. I think that with the right system, if you dedicate a system to him, he can be a starting quarterback in this league.
There's just not many. It's the thing that sucks. It's only 32 teams, which is just, man.
Not a lot of teams who need a quarterback right now.
Right. I mean, who even knows with, if you have like your older generation of quarterbacks, but hell, we don't even know when Aaron Rodgers is going to stop playing. Tom Brady, I feel like, is never going to stop playing. It's.
I think this is his last year.
Tom's.
Yeah.
I think it's. I think
he said he was playing until he's 45. I think he's 44 now.
I think Aaron Rodgers has about 2 years left in him.
Yeah.
Depends how they do this year with no Devontae Adams, but yeah. I don't know where he would really fit in. I thought maybe Seattle would give us a call, but they got Drew Lock. At minimum, a 5th or a 4th.
At minimum, right?
Yeah.
At the minimum.
Or he would just trade Huntley for like an all-pro player on their contract year or something.
Could happen too. Jabari Cruz Ellis says, what position battle are you guys looking forward to? I think it's definitely left guard for me.
Yes. Who would have thought? We're excited about an offensive lineman.
I know, right? That's how you know we're hardcore fans.
Left guard is going to be Cleveland. It's going to be Phillips.
Yeah.
Is it going to be Powers? Who's it going to be?
Yeah. Let's see. Purple Haze here says, Patty reminds me of Michael Chandler going out to crack you before you crack him. Patty leaves his chin open too much the same as Chandler. Yeah, I think that in that lightweight division, we're talking about the division with Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Conor McGregor, all these guys. Once he starts getting up there in the rankings, Patty, he's gonna have to keep that chin tucked, or else he'll get it taken off. So, good analysis there, though, Purple Haze. Appreciate that. Let's see. We'll take a couple more questions from you guys. My guy Kali chiming in here says, which team are you guys worried about the most this season? I think this is a good question.
It's a very good question. I have a couple of them. Goodness me. Any team that got further than us last year. That's a lot in the AFC, but Bills, Bengals, definitely. I'm worried about them. Honestly, the way Tyreek's been talking up too, I'm not gonna say I'm worried as much as I am, but they definitely got something to prove. The Dolphins have a good offense, beat us last year, but who knows? But if I had to pick one team, I'm probably going the Bills. I think they're a solidified, bona fide Super Bowl contender. So, and behind
we're gonna find out about the Bills week 4.
Yeah. Early and often, let's do it.
Yeah, I would say the Bills, but at the same time, I'm gonna go with the Chargers. It's really been annoying to me how much credit people are already giving Justin Herbert when he hasn't even gotten to the playoffs yet, because they give him more credit than they do Lamar Jackson for some reason. They say that he's better. But I do really like the play that I saw from Justin Herbert last year. I like the weapons that he has on offense: Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. But also, and what was their main, thing that held them back last season was their defense. Their defense was weak in multiple games. I saw a game where Jalen Hurts was torching them. Jalen Hurts.
And what do they do? How do they address their defense?
Listen, man, they went out and they got star talent. J.C. Jackson. I'm talking Khalil Mack. I'm talking, they still have Joey Bosa, of course. Like, having Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa both
Derwin
rushing the
James
passer.
and then Derwin
Derwin
James and J.C.
James,
Jackson.
come on. That defense is going to be making plays this season. They're going to be flying around, and for that reason, I think that makes them the most dangerous or the most scary team or the most team that I'm worried about. I'm worried about that team the most for sure. The Chargers. Yeah, that's my answer.
I see people saying Pittsburgh. I see Baltimore Ravens saying Denver. Dre saying Kansas City. Hey, listen, all those teams I am worried about. I really am. They're great teams. They're great coach, well coached teams. I'll give them that.
Right.
Denver still is out there. We don't know what Nathaniel Hackett can bring, but the Chiefs are obviously well coached. But we're in a dogfight in the AFC. This is no walk in the park in the playoffs. This is grinded out football. So it's gonna be a fun season.
Absolutely. One or two more here says Omega 21 says PRP. Do you think the Ravens are using Lamar to his full potential? Because if not, there could be a possibility he goes to a team that can. And I'm torn on this part. If this wants him to stay or go. On this part, if this wants him to stay or go.
There's lots of unknowns, and with him not having an agent, we won't know. And hey, I'm cool with that. Who know? We don't know. Maybe I don't want to know.
I just think it would be worth if the Ravens offense is not clicking, like I said, by mid-season. To me, if I'm Eric DeCosta, if I'm the higher ups in that Ravens front office, I'm saying maybe it's worth moving off of Giro, getting in a new offensive coordinator, new fresh look on offense to see what the problem was. What was the variable that was stopping us from being so productive on offense? Is it Lamar Jackson and his inability to really lead a pass happy offense, or was it Greg Roman who just wasn't scheming it up correctly? That question would be answered if you moved off of Greg Roman, because obviously you're going to move off Roman before you move off Lamar, obviously. That question would be answered if we did that. If we moved off of Roman and we went with somebody else mid-season with a fresh look on offense.
I just find it weird that you take the coordinator that you beat in the Super Bowl that only had 3 points in the first half, that needed a power outage to come back on you.
And they say,
I just find
that's our guy.
I find it does anybody else find that weird? I just think about it more and more. Rex Ryan didn't want him. Jim Harbaugh, no. Oh, John, let's take him.
Yeah. I don't get it.
And no hate towards the guy. I mean, hell of a run game. We've talked about it, but nobody. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, Lamar gets his stick in the media. How? What about G-Ro? Give him his stick. Only person I've seen, like I said, the former players and Kurt Warner. Shout out to them.
Yeah. I see our guys from Lunch Break Hot Take in the building.
LBHT.
What's going on, LBHT? Appreciate y'all for pulling up. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Rain Gang. Appreciate that.
Much love.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see. Let's take one more here. This one's from Omega again. Says, PRP, who do you have, Francis or Tyson Fury? I'm going to go Tyson Fury, man. In a boxing match. Francis Ngannou, the UFC heavyweight champion, or Tyson Fury. You guys know who he is if you follow boxing at all. I got Tyson Fury, man. I mean, just like if they were fighting in the octagon, I would have Francis.
And speaking of boxing real quick, I'm sorry I have to bring him up. I have a newfound respect for Jake Paul, unfortunately. I never thought this day would come when he said that Lamar deserves the Kyler bag and then some. I had to quote tweet it. Did he say that? He said that I quote tweeted with the worst person you know made a great point on it.
Hey, shout out to Jake Paul.
I respect that. So shout out to him for that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Cool. I did not know that.
It's a weird crossover. Glitch in the Matrix.
I know, right? Let's see. Jonathan Washington Jr. says, will we see Lamar call audibles this year? I was just talking about this 20 minutes ago, Jonathan. I hope so. I hope he's able to. I want to see him more active at the line of scrimmage, engaging with his offense, before the snap. I think that's important. But as of right now, we're getting to the ball. We're getting to the line of scrimmage with 3 seconds left to spare. So,
That's been happening for years now.
Yeah.
You look it up. Greg Roman offenses. Since 2013.
Maybe that's something we should address for sure.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to go ahead and leave it there for the question segment and thus this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Episode 125 of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you go ahead and follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast, just like you see down below. Also, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def, just like you see there. And then my guy Simply is 10. You can find him on Twitter just at Simply is 10. And on Instagram at simplyas10.prod. Most importantly, you can go on his YouTube, Simply as 10, find all the latest highlight videos. The season's getting, listen, man, the season is about to start. The most important time of the year for Simply AS10, at least in my opinion, is about to start. And that's preseason, right? Because preseason, nobody has time to watch all the preseason games, you know, from every team. Yes. So if you lock into Simply AS10's YouTube channel, you're going to catch the best highlights from all those preseason games from all the players that you wanted to see.
That's what
you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Exactly.
You get it.
If
you get
want,
it.
If you want to see, exactly. You want to see Malik Willis throw a touchdown in the preseason? You go to Simply AS10's channel. Y'all probably even forgot about Malik Willis. But listen, when they start playing, when they start playing Simply as 10, he's gonna be covering it all over his YouTube channel. So make sure you head over to Simply as 10 on YouTube and subscribe.
And like I said, that's why I love the preseason. Thank you very much. That's why I love the preseason, because it's just you get to see those guys play. You get to hell. We saw Tim Tebow playing tight end last year.
Oh, we did. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So that's why I do like you see some wacky weird things. So thank you very much for that. It's an hour and 10 minutes in of the Purple Rain Podcast, episode 125. And before we go, I gotta say thank you all for coming through. And as always, stay positive, test negative. And one more thing.
Never, ever, ever forget to call God. This has been episode 125 of the Purple Rain Podcast. We're going to catch you guys in the next one.